Hello guys, welcome to your next set of notes. Today we're going to be talking about ratio tables and graphs. So cut and glue the purple page down in your notebook first, and we'll start talking about ratio tables. So a ratio table is just a group of equivalent ratios or a group of equivalent fractions. The value of a ratio can be used to find the missing value. So each of these ratios can be written as a fraction. So right now they're just side to side. So first column to second column, first, second, first, second, first, second. We could also have them go up and down like a fraction as well. So then it does not matter quite the direction or anything like that. As long as it's always left to right, you go in left to right order or top to bottom order, just like a fraction. So I'm not a big fan of these steps, so I don't want you to worry too much about them. We're actually just going to cross them off and not deal with the steps. But this is how I teach my students to find the missing value. Okay, your first step, so if we were to do steps, step 1 would be to get the ratio in simplest form. Put it into simplest form, whichever ratio it is. You have to have a ratio, okay? So if we look at number 1 here, okay, I have blank to 5. That's not a ratio because I don't know this number. Or I have blank to or 16 to blank. I don't know that number. So I have 20 to 25. I know that ratio. That ratio I need to put in simplest form. So I ask myself, okay, what can I take out of 20 and 25? Well, I know that 5 goes into both, and 25 divided by 5 is 5, which is right there, and 20 divided by 5 is 4. So I'm going to put the 4 there. That's not always going to be the case, but in this case, you want to get it in simplest form, and it's written right there for you. So then when I do this, I can see, oh, well here it's times 5. That means this side also needs to be times 5, because whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So if I go from 4 to 16, well 4 times 4 is 16. That means I also have to times it by 4, and 5 times 4 is 20. So 20 goes in that box. Then I keep going through the whole thing, and I always go back to the simplest form. So then I see 4 to 36. Well, 4 times 9 is 36. So I need to do 5 times 9, and 5 times 9 is 45. So 45 goes in that box. Last one, I have 5 times what gives me 60? 5 times 12 gives me 60. So 4 times 12 gives me 48. So it's kind of like a rainbow effect if you think about it. Now, I'm not going to make you do the rainbow lines on your homework assignments, but do these on your notes. That way, when you need to go back and look to figure out what you did, you know what you're doing. Okay, so let's do number 2. The only one I have here is 36 and 78. So I need to figure out, okay, well, what can I divide out of 36 and 78? Okay, well, I know a 2 goes into both, but the question is does anything bigger? I know 4 goes into 36, so I could take 78 and divide it by 4, but 4 does not go into 78, so that's not going to work. I know that 9 goes in, so I could try dividing by 9, but that does not work. I know that 3 goes in. So I know 3 works on both of them. I know 2 works on both of them. The question is anything bigger? And if 2 goes in and 3 goes in, that means 6 also goes into it as well. So I'm actually going to divide by 6. So if I divide 36 divided by 6, I will get 6. And if I take 78 and I divide it by 6, I will get 13. So 6/13 is my simplest form of 36/78, which means every single ratio needs to match 6/13. So that means if I take this and I times it by 2, I need to take 13 times it by 2, which is 26. If I keep going, I know that 6 times 10 is 60, so 13 times 10 is 130. I then can figure out that 13 times 11 is 143, so I need to take 6 times 11, and that is 66. And then finally, I know that 13 times 13 gives me 169, so I need to take 6 times 13, and that will give me 78. And there is my ratio table. If you can get your ratio into simplest form, match everything to the simplest form. It is the easiest way and method to do it. So for homework, what I need you guys to do tonight is you're going to do 3 and 4 on your own, and then you are going to do number 5. It says describe the steps you use to find the values for the blanks in 4. So you're answering 5 based on question 4. What steps did you use? What things did you do? Use complete sentences. Use your words. So that's ratio tables, and you have to know ratio tables in order to do ratio graphs. So that's your next page. So if you have cut and glued the green piece of paper into your notes, it'll look like this. So this one's still going up and down. This one's going side to side, which it's still top to bottom. This one looks just like a fraction, so do it exactly like you would a fraction. It's just the other direction. So here, what you have to do is you need to fill the rest of the ratio table and graph the points on the graph. And then it's asking you, is this proportional? So what this means is, once again, I do the same thing with my ratio table. I need to fill it in, get it into simplest form. Well, 4 and 6, I know I can take a 2 out, so that is 2 and 3 in simplest form. Okay, and then I know if I multiply 2 times 4, that gives me 8. So 3 times 4, that gives me 12. I know that 2 times 6 gives me 12. So 3 times 6 gives me 18. And last, I know 2 times 8 gives me 16. So 3 times 8 gives me 24. So you have to be able to fill out your graph. Once you have filled out your graph, you can then plot these points into the coordinate plane. X and Y, this is your X. Vertical is your Y. That's always going to be the case. So you always do X before you do Y. So I want to go X to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, Y to 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to put a dot. Then I want to do 8 to 12. Well, 8 on the X, 12 on the Y. Should I put it in the right spot? And then I have 12 on the X, 18 on the Y. Then I have 16 on the X, 24 on the Y. And then graph the simplest form one. So 2 to 3. So if you had to come up and create your simplest form one, do that. Then once you have plotted those 5 points, you're going to connect the dots because they should form a straight line like so. They should also pass through the point 0, 0. So this right here, as long as your dots form a straight line on your graph, they pass through the point 0, 0. When I ask you the question of, is this proportional? Your answer is yes. If they do not form a straight line, you do not have a proportional relationship. If it does not pass through 0, 0, say it passed through 2, 0 up here, you do not have a proportional relationship. It has to pass through the point 0, 0. If it does not, it is not proportional. But usually with ratio tables and graphs, everything is consistent, everything is equal, therefore it should almost always be proportional. So check and make sure you're not doing something wrong. So that is that. You guys are going to do number 2 for homework, so finish filling out your ratio table, graph it, tell me, is it proportional, yes or no. Okay, so that's all the notes for today. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.